Hello, I'm Jorge Llanos. I am a composer, music producer, and a K through 8 music teacher. With this video assignment, I want to illustrate my research paper on inclusive music education for students with auditory processing disorder, APD. Many questions have come up during my investigation, but the one that stands out most to me is why is APD so difficult to identify? Auditory processing disorder has nothing to do with the ears. It concerns how the brain interprets what the ears hear. Students with APD can typically hear the sound but may have difficulty in noisy environments, following multi step directions, or separating the teacher's voice from background noise. It is difficult for teachers to identify and investigate APD because teachers are not medical professionals or audiologists. Students with APD may exhibit symptoms that resemble many other conditions, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, maybe behavioral disorders of difficulties or a lack of motivation, effort, you know. There are no simple classroom tests to determine if a student has APD. Teachers can only recognize some of the minor indicators. Students will continually, I always hear this in class, they start asking, what? What? Or appears lost when multiple individuals are speaking simultaneously, or maybe performs significantly better in individual instructions versus large groups. In a classroom real world, it's very common to hear, my head hurts. If you are listening music to a video, somebody goes and says, it's too loud. I don't understand what you are saying, and many other excuses. But the truth is that they don't want to do the activity or they want to do other thing instead of the one indicated. It happens mostly in the elementary, there are kids, we're talking about 4 years until 12 years old are there. Due to these factors, it can take a great deal of time for a teacher to investigate whether or not a student may have APD. The investigation process involves observing the students, communicating with the family and support staff, and possibly a lively time frame before an official diagnosis is established. I have the following question. What can we do in music class while we are still investigating whether or not a student has APD? How can we develop our instructional strategies to support students with APD before they receive a specific identification label? In my written papers and within this video, I focus on three major instructional strategies that can be implemented to make music more accessible. Firstly, managing sensory overload can be an effective strategy. Music classrooms are generally extremely loud and chaotic. For students with APD, listening to multiple sounds at once can be overwhelming. Some few simple ideas could be, let's suppose, softly introducing a quiet routine at the beginning of the class rather than suddenly introducing loud instruments. Following a one person speaks at a time policy to prevent speakers from overlapping. Closing the door to your classroom as well as seating students in a way that reduces echo. Inserting short reset times of 10 to 15 seconds where all students stop playing, breathe, and refocus their attention. This is another factor. They always want to go to the bathroom, and this is, becomes distracted. By using these techniques, you can reduce overall sensory stimulation, allowing the primary sound either the teacher's voice or the lead instrumentalist's sound, to be clearly heard and processed by the students. Secondly, we can provide visual scaffolding for students. When auditory information is unclear, we can visually demonstrate the organization and structure of the lesson content. A graphic agenda can be developed to display on the board for the entire class with icons representing each activity within the agenda. Visual representations of rhythmic patterns and relationships can be shown through beat charts, color code rhythms, hand signals to indicate when to begin, stop, or change parts. Another thing could be printed lyrics sheets or digital displays of lyrics can allow students to follow the words and read the text as the song is sung. Simple visual reminders such as holding up a colored index card to remind students of the cue to listen, repeat, play, that kind of things. Visual representations can serve as an additional source of structure for students. These visual structures do not require students to retain the same level of cognitive detail about the sequence of time as they would if they relied solely on auditory information. Instead, the visual supports provide students with an external representation of time and sequencing. Lastly, we can utilize technology and artificial intelligence to enhance accessibility for students, not as replacement for teaching, not at all. Examples of assistive technologies include toning tracks down to slow speed or isolating a single layer, for example, a bass line, melody, harmony. Students hears only one layer at a time. Excuse me. Utilizing applications that isolate individual layers of music, such as vocal, drums, bass, like stems, creating stems, so students can concentrate on fewer layers at a time. They can make a solo of the instrument, move the faders, put more volume in one thing. That's good. Recording teacher instructions or brief demonstration of tasks and then allowing students to play back the recordings using their headphones. Utilizing captioning or real-time transcription software to convert spoken language into text during lessons. With the assistance of AI, educators can quickly generate clearer audio examples, personal practice tracks, and visual supports for students. The main objective is to provide students with clarity and deliver a clear signal rather than a bunch of mixed sound. I've been developing a concept of the personal sound bubble. Through my experience and research, I developed the concept that I call the personal sound bubble. The concept of the personal sound bubble was born out of three sources. First, observations of students with APD responding positively to wearing headphones to enhance clarity. This is an important part. Second, learning about noise cancellation technology and AI capabilities to separate an individual's voice for background noise. Uh, Asking myself, what if students with APD were able to take their own private bubble of clarity with them wherever they went musically? The personal sound bubble is an image of an educational system, potentially using a headset or wearable device using AI to reduce surrounding background noise, amplify the teacher's voice and or selected instruments, send a customized mixture of sounds directly to the student in real time. It could work greatly because they will focus on the sound, okay? That is the principal instrument to do something in the brain and understand what's going on in the exterior. In a band rehearsal, a student may hear only the conductor's voice and their own part, while the rest of the ensemble is slightly quieter. In a general music setting, a student may receive clear speech along with a simplified accompaniment. While the personal sound bubble is a conceptual model, it illustrates how music education, special education, and AI development can collaborate to meet the needs of students with APD. Integration, belonging, and hope. At its core, this project represents integration. Inclusive music education is not about creating an alternative or less demanding pathway for students with APD. Rather, it is about developing learning environments where students with APD can be alongside their peers in the ensemble. Students with APD can be comfortable and confident. The unique ways students with APD interpret and process sound are acknowledged and accepted. Technology and AI are not the start of the story. They are merely tools that enable teachers to connect with their students. The goal of this project is that every student who enters the music classroom can say, "This place was designed with me in mind." Thank you.